Shalum. Shalom and welcome. Welcome to the White Rose Family Channel. My name is Symmanayah, and these are the words I'm compelled to present before an awakening set-apart nation, to those who are drawn by the Almighty Father, the Almighty Creator, He that is the Aleph and the Tah, the beginning and the end, Yahuah, Spirit everywhere at all times, who manifests His Word before us in the name of Yahusha. Yahusha represents the word of Yahuah, making it possible for us to be in communion with the Almighty Father is by listening to His word, Yahusha. So these words are to those who are drawn by Yahuah, to Yahusha, His word, as it is written in John 6:44. Before I get started, I don't know if I said this, my name is Symmanayah, but before I get started, I want to say this, that the views expressed in these messages do not necessarily reflect the views of the owners, managers, shareholders, and or sponsors of this media platform. With that said, let's get started. I want to bring to your attention matters that continue to be of importance as we prepare for that final exodus. And I say countdown 2023. Many people don't realize that December 21, 2023 marks a significant time. You see, I want you to do this, O Yashar'al. Use your search engine and put in Grand Conjunction. Grand Conjunction. And you will find an article that marks a time 400 years from 2023 to 2023. And it speaks of a brilliant, bright star. 400 years from that great conjunction, that grand conjunction that happened in 1623 is 2023. There are other factors that have convinced me and compelled me to speak so boldly as to talk about December 21, 2023 as it regards to our final exodus. Just as there was a brilliant star that marked the birth of Yahusha Mashiach and began his ministry, physical ministry, to restore the children of Yashar'al, we will see a grand conjunction December 21st that will mark the beginning of our deliverance from this 400-year captivity. There are other factors that have led me and compelled me to embrace this. Dreams that I had over 20, 30 years ago, over 30 years ago, even longer than that led me, that plus many other things that have been brought upon me and pressed upon me have led me to speak boldly on this. In this segment, Yashar'al, I want you to consider faces and characteristics. Faces and characteristics. You see, O Yashar'al, we are in end times. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of anxiety, fears, anxiousness. There's a lot of talk about the end times and what's going to happen. But there isn't as much talk regarding what we are to do in preparation and what we are to anticipate and how to begin acting now to fulfill the duties that we will discover have been assigned to us for these end times. So, faces and characteristics, realities. Yashar'al, we speak of what we believe. What do we see? What characteristics are before us? Are we growing in maturity so that we can judge righteously? Are we growing in maturity that we can demonstrate the presence of discernment, Yahusha revealing things to us? And if so, what do we see? What faces are before us? Think about our brothers and sisters in days of old. Did they see? Did Abraham see Melchizedek and understood that he was one after Yahuah and tied to them? Were they people that saw Noah building a great ark and dying unable to get on that ark? Did they see? Did Noah's family see individuals left behind? What did they see? You see, the scriptures are real. Did the children of Yashar'al witness Moses leading them out of captivity? What did they see? Did they see that Moses did not make it to the wilderness? What did they see? You might say, where are you going with this? Just as everything that we've read in Scripture, there were people who saw, who witnessed the realities of what was unfolding in Yahuwah's plan. And I say to you, we, O Yashar'al, must begin to ask ourselves, what do we see? What faces and characteristics are we witnessing? Which ones are set apart and which ones aren't? There's a difference between being moved and guided by the Spirit of Yahuwah, sent in Yahusha's name, versus distractions and entertainment and show. Can you see? Do you have the rudiments, the elements, the attributes of set apartness to describe what you see? And if so, what are you doing about it? What actions are required? Describing what is seen is important, my brothers and sisters. And we will discover, as end times ramp up, the need to define what we see accurately is important. Let me continue. Perceptions will differ, my brothers and sisters, but agreement is necessary. You see, someone will look at an individual or individuals or conditions or an environment and say, this is what I see. Someone else will say, I see something else. And even another may say, I see something else. The question is, can these things join together and be connected? Or do they fight against one another? Because if we see things that are contrary and fight against one another, something is wrong. And we must come to agreement, O Yashar'al, on the things that connect and set apartness that makes us whole. Perceptions will differ, but the guidance of the Spirit of Yahuwah will make things whole and one to those who are trained by His words. My brothers and sisters, perceptions. Consider the importance of these words, my brothers and sisters. Think about these words as we look at the faces and characteristics of Yashar'al today during these end times in preparation for what's to come, whether it be the final exodus or being martyrs for Yahusha's name. Consider the importance of these words. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 12 and 13 reads, the hearing ear and the seeing eye, Yahuwah has made both of them. Do not love sleep, lest you become poor. Open your eyes, be satisfied with bread. Are we not aware that Yahusha is the bread of life, my brothers and sisters? Do we see the elements, attributes, characteristics of Yahusha working within us, that Yahuwah's set apart spirit is working in us, towards us, one towards another, as He worked in us? Consider Matthew chapter 6, verse 22. For it reads, the lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, all your body shall be enlightened. The lamp of the body, my brothers and sisters. Who do you think that lamp is? Where does the ability to see come from? I say it comes from the Almighty Father Yahuwah. In the name of Yahusha, we will understand how it is so important that we're able to see the faces and characteristics and judge righteously which things to draw close to and which things to come away from. Consider these words strongly, my brothers and sisters, during these end times. Revelations chapter 2, verse 7. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the assembly. To him who overcomes, I shall give to eat from the tree of life, which is in the midst of the paradise of the Almighty One. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al. Hear what the Spirit is saying. The things we see, the characteristics we witness, the Spirit will minister unto us directly or through another towards us. It is so important, O Yashar'al, that we not just take the Webster Dictionary or Thorndike or Thornton Dictionary definition of discernment. True discernment is when the Spirit of Yahusha reveals the unseen before it happens. True discernment will help fuel our characteristics on how we act, how we respond. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al. It is important to be able to discern from good and evil. It is important to start looking at the faces. I've seen teachers, mores, pastors, and elders. I've seen some chuckle and laugh. The seriousness of end times is not a funny thing. It's not a funny matter. Do you want to continue following someone that's constantly laughing or chuckling like something's funny? There's nothing funny about what we are experiencing and will experience. We must be sincere, O Yashar'al. There are leaders who have moved over and basically they're lobbyists for politics. They speak more on politics than the ways of Yahuah. Is that what you want to follow? Someone who's speaking on politics? Taking one side or the other? One thing we don't realize, O Yashar'al, whether you say Republican or Democrat or independent, the scriptures say any nation divided against itself will not stand. Many people don't realize the wars and rumors of wars that are spoken in end times are the fruit of nations divided against themselves. We must learn to discern the faces of wickedness, the characteristics of wickedness, as well as set apartness, my brothers and sisters. For in that discernment, in that understanding, characteristics will be shaped and formed and fueled. Come with me, my brothers and sisters. For there is indeed an inward man, and there is an outward man. The outward man can be programmed because it is the brain, it is the flesh, it is the cognitive, the mental faculties. But it is the inward man that manages, that allows us through the Spirit of Yahuah. In Yahusha's name, it is the Spirit of our set-apart Father, joined with our spirit, where we're able to manage this flesh and be delivered from the strongholds of wickedness. The inward man, the characteristics will sometimes differ as the flesh war against the spirit. But praise the Almighty Father, through Yahusha Mashiach, deliverance comes day by day, moment by moment. Come with me, my brother, my sister, my family, to Romans chapter 7, verse 22 through 25. I would encourage you to read the entire chapter, but right now I'm going to read Romans 7, 22 through 25, for it reads, and this is Shalum speaking, for I delight in the Torah of the Almighty One. Torah means instructions, my brothers and sisters. It could have very well read in the instruction of the Almighty One. According to the inward man, but I see another Torah in my members, battling against the Torah of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the Torah of sin, which is in my members. This is that flesh warring against the spirit. And Shaul said, wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from this body of death? Thanks to the Almighty One through Yahushua Messiah, our Master. So then, with the mind, I myself truly serve the instruction, the Torah of the Almighty One. But with the flesh, the Torah of sin. we will learn that the deliverance that the Almighty Father gives us enables us to have the faces and characteristics of set apartness, demonstrate the attributes for coming together in unity, O Yashar'al. Come with me to 2 Corinthians, 4th chapter, verse 16 through 18, for it reads, "Therefore we do not lose heart, but even if our outward man is perishing, the inward man is being renewed day by day. For this slight momentary pressure is working for us a far more exceeding and everlasting weight of esteem. We are not looking on what is seen, but on what is not seen. For what is seen passes away, but what is not seen is everlasting." Understand what this is saying, my brothers and sisters. Understanding is pointing us to the priorities. And when we look at the priorities, when we look at that inward man and see what is not seen, and if we are walking in obedience, there is balance. Our outward actions will indeed reflect what we see inwardly. Yashar'al, Yashar'al. We must understand how judgment begins at the house of Yahuah first. I speak on this often. End times are here. Pain and suffering is coming for most of us. In some cases, the pain will be but for a moment, as discipline brings correction to those who are trained by it. But judgment will occur and is occurring. Some of the conflicts we see among Yashar'al is iron sharpening iron, is a judgment that is coming to bring correction. And some of it is unfruitful, that comes when people use their own perceptions and are undiscerning and unlearned. Come with me to 1 Peter 4:17 through 19. For it reads, "Because it is time for judgment to begin from the house of the Almighty One. And if firstly from us, what is the end of those who do not obey the good news of the Almighty One? And if the righteous one is scarcely saved, where shall the wicked and the sinner appear? So then those who suffer according to the desire of the Almighty One," notice it says suffer according to the desire of the Almighty One, "should commit their lives to a trustworthy Creator in doing good." My brothers and sisters, the realities of end times are before us. The things that are happening are occurring for a reason. We must, O Yashar'al, we must get to the point where we understand what is necessary and begin acting and responding in a set-apart way. We must consider what happens during judgment. Judgment is not a bad thing. Judgment sharpens, perfects. Judgment is a process that refines the children of Yahuah. Let us know that and understand that. End-time prophecies are being fulfilled. In most cases, there's no argument from us, from many. The question is, what are the faces of set-apartness? What are the characteristics of the things that refine a set-apart nation? Let's have that discussion. Let's examine those matters, my brothers and sisters, lest we find ourselves stumbling along the way. Understand, my brothers and sisters, as judgment begins at the house of Yahuah, the results will be phenomenal in these coming days. Judgment, my brothers and sisters, judgment, let us not forget. Remember, end time prophecies will be fulfilled. I can't stress that enough, my brothers and sisters. Being able to see clearly requires belief. Being able to discern and define the faces that we see requires belief. Being able to define and determine what must be done as we face various characteristics that are before us requires belief. Belief that the Almighty Father will guide us and direct our path, O Yashar'al. to see clearly and discern between good and evil. Hear these words, O Yashar'al, as I take you to Hebrews 11, 1 through 3, and Hebrews 11, 6. For they read, and belief is the substance of what is expected. What do we expect, O Yashar'al? What do we expect from a set-apart nation? What do we expect from the obedient? What do we expect to be done to help the undiscerning, those on milk? What do we expect? What are we doing? The proof of what is not seen. You see, the Spirit of Yahuah wants us to believe and trust him and discern his voice. It says, for by this, speaking on belief, the elders obtain witness. By belief, we understand that the ages were prepared by the word of the Almighty One, so that what is seen was not made of what is visible. There's a lot of things we don't see today, but tomorrow, a different story. For there are promises the Almighty Father will keep and is keeping. Hebrews 11:6 said, but without belief it is impossible to please him. For he who comes to the Almighty One has to believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of those who earnestly seek him. You see, my brothers and sisters, so many people are quick to say, when the unknown is presented, there are brothers and sisters who will say, no, I want to wait till I see it. I want to wait till a sign. They attack those who operate on belief and discernment, unaware that the things, the faces, the characteristics we see are a result of what we believe within, that's working within inside of us, working its way outwardly. Yashar'al, or Yashar'al, we will learn to obey, for the Almighty Father will indeed refine us. We will understand the power of belief. Belief that we're defining the faces we see, the characteristics correctly as we move together or away from. We must know the dynamics, the power of set-apart belief in order to fulfill what lies ahead, Yashar'al. There are some verses I repeat often, but just as the ship approaches the shore at night or in dense fog, the light on a lighthouse, the beacon of light, will shine continuously till it's no longer needed. Just as warnings will be repetitive over and over till they're no longer needed. Instructions will come again and again until they're no longer needed. Or Yashar'al. What are the realities of what you're witnessing? Are you among a compromising group, fellowship, or community? Do you honestly believe this is where the Almighty Father would have you to be if there is no change, if there is no growth, if there is no maturity occurring? Prepare to witness set-apart abilities, my brothers and sisters. The abilities of individuals to speak boldly of what is right, what is true. This requires discernment. This requires continual examinations. So many relationships people have had where they've been burned is because they do not understand the dynamics of vetting and examining and making a decision to come away or purge what is not set apart from their midst. Some say they don't want to be alone, but they occupy their time with compromising camps, fellowships, and groups, opposed to stepping away so that they can see what lies ahead, what awaits them to bring about the fellowship that is ordered by the Almighty Father. Examination, my brothers and sisters, I cannot speak it enough. If we examine and vet, we could prevent being with the wrong person at the wrong time. So many people are patronizing one another or complimenting one another or encouraging one another. But yet, in some cases, don't even know one another because they haven't asked the questions that make for a tight relationship. Come with me to Ephesians 1, 8 through 11, my brothers and sisters. Philippians 1, 8 through 11 reads, "For the Almighty One is my witness. How I long for you all with the affection of Yahusha Messiah. And this I pray, that your love might extend more and more in knowledge and all discernment, for you to examine the matters that differ in order to be sincere and not stumbling until the day of Messiah, being filled with the fruit of righteousness through Yahusha Messiah, to the esteem and praise of the Almighty One." Let that marinate, my brothers and sisters. Let that stir within you, for end times will prove to demand it. Know when to purge, when to come away. One of the hardest things for man is change. Another hard thing for anyone is to move. But if you sincerely believe there will be a final exodus, if you sincerely believe this is the last generation, if you sincerely believe end time prophecies are being fulfilled, then it's time to gird up and face the realities that the time of movement has begun for some, but will increase and reach the face of others in due season. Discuss these matters, my brothers and sisters. Can you discern the faces of movement, the characteristics of movement? Can you identify who you should be with or who should be with you and which directions to go? It's time to take these matters sincerely, my brothers and sisters. It's time to ask questions. It's time to get into tight, binding relationships with the set-apart brothers and sisters that the Almighty Father has gifted us with, or us to them. Let's visit these words regarding discipline, Yashar'al, and some may be tired of me talking about it. But do you think we can be refined and get better without discipline? Think again. Pray again. Revelation 3:19 says, "Many as I love, I reprove and discipline. So be ardent and repent." Do you believe the Almighty Father loves you, loves us? Let us be mindful when it's necessary to repent, yield to reproof. Hebrews 12:11 through 14 reads, Hebrews chapter 12, verse 11 through 14 reads, "And indeed no discipline seemed pleasant at the time, but grievous. But afterward it yields the peaceable fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. So strengthen the hands which hang down and the weak knees, and make straight paths for your feet, lest the lame be turned aside, but instead to be healed. Pursue peace with all, and pursue a partners without which no one shall see the master." You see, my brothers and sisters, pursue a partners. We must be able to discern the faces and characteristics of what is a partners and what is not. When to come away, when to draw close to. Listen, O Yashar'al, discipline and structure is a necessity for this final exodus. And we have less than 18 months before we see something phenomenal occur regarding the final exodus. It would be wise, my brothers and sisters, to know what to do when we encounter strange faces. Examine. Look at them. Pray. Study. Allow the scriptures to come alive and well up within you with the wisdom to decide whether to embrace or to purge or repel. When we encounter strange faces, ask questions. Let us be careful. faces. You see, there are those who are being deceived by these mores or individuals who walk around with garments with menorahs and Yahuwah's name or Yahusha's name on it, and phylacteries dangling, when the scriptures meant just hem your garment with a purple cord. But out of vanity, they exaggerated the order of Yahuwah and put phylacteries. In some translations, they say a blue cord, but it was a purple cord. People walk around in so-called Hebrew garments. There are individuals who think, well, that's who I need to be with, because those are the real Hebrews. I say to you, my brother, my sister, do you really believe the characteristics and faces that we see will be those with a lion head? Some have gone to so much extreme that they borderline worshiping a lion, showing a lion's face. Though the scriptures describe Yehuda as the lion of the tribe of Yehuda, we're not to worship a lion, nor just constantly showing lion heads and lion faces. Characteristics of a set-apart nation are those who walk in obedience, not seduced by imagery, not seduced by fashion. We must look for the faces and characteristics of those who pursue true set-apart actions, actions of love, strength, and discipline, actions of worship and obedience to the Almighty Father Yahuwah in the name of Yahusha. How do you think we can worship the Almighty Father Yahuwah if we cannot understand His Word? Who do you think brings understanding of His Word? It is Yahusha. It is Yahuwah's Word. More people are saying I'm playing it safe by just saying Yah, Yah, Yah. And I'm not saying to say Yah is wrong, but to ignore that Yah's Word is Yahusha is problematic. We're able to worship and pray. We're able to sing psalms to Yahuwah and understand Him by His Word, Yahusha. When we mention the name Yahusha, we're saying we recognize His Word made alive before us, in us, and through us. Understand, my brothers and sisters, much correction is coming by the word of Yahuwah in the name of Yahusha. Be advised, there are matters that require more work to identify than others. We will learn the work that is necessary, that is required during these end times. The faces we see today, the characteristics we see today will change. In some cases, some will die physically. Unfortunately, it will be some of our loved ones. In some cases, we will find ourselves weakened. And in that weakness, we will see that the Spirit of Yahuwah will rise up with the strength and power necessary for us to fulfill His promises. Come with me, O Yashar'al, as I read Romans 12:9 through 13. I want you to think about the need for work. Recognizing faces and characteristics requires work, requires actions, bring expectation. Romans 12:9 through 13 says, let love be without hypocrisy. Shrink from what is wicked and cling to what is good. In brotherly love, tenderly loving towards one another. In appreciation, giving preference to each other. Not idle in duty, ardent in spirit, serving the master, rejoicing in the expectancy, enduring under pressure, continuing steadfastly in prayer, imparting to the needs of the set-apart ones, pursuing kindness towards strangers. My brothers and sisters, believe it or not, during these end times, we will meet strangers. We will meet individuals we never knew. But those who we meet that are indeed our brothers and sisters, together we will find the Spirit of Yahuwah working through us, in us, one towards another, and bringing us closer and closer together. The stranger will no longer be a stranger. In some cases, those that we thought weren't strangers are strangers because inwardly they had a secret agenda. And we must decide and do something about it, or Yashar'al. During such times as this, in the days that have begun and the days to come, emotions will be heightened. But we must pray and seek to discern on how to manage our emotions wisely. As we lose loved ones, as we discover that individuals we were following had different intentions, as we discover the dynamics of set-apartness emerging and surfacing among the obedience, we will be surprised of those who were really not sincere, but outwardly they quote-unquote appear to be sincere. A shock is coming. Corrections are coming. The true worshipers and those obedient to the Almighty Father will be identified and will rise up with strength and power. The Almighty Father's plan will be fulfilled, O Yashar'al. I want you to stay tuned. There are more details. There's more processes. There's more things for us to consider as we prepare to return to that set-apart place that the Almighty Father has promised us. Get involved, O Yashar'al. Prepare to witness the Spirit of Abba Yahuah. In Yahusha's name. And I ask you, are you my brother? Are you my sister? Why don't we communicate? Why don't we really try to get to know one another? So many people think they are quote-unquote playing it safe, but do they have your best interest in set-apartness? Do you have your best interest in set-apartness? What say you, my brother, my sister? Are you ready to wake up? Are you ready to witness the power and might of the Almighty Father fulfill his promises to you, to me, to us? Behold, the hand of the Almighty Father will be enlarged in the days ahead. There will be a final exodus. I thank you for your patience, your tolerance, and your pursuit of set-apartness. Make no mistake, set-apart guidance will enlarge and come before us. Chosen leaders will demonstrate what is required to bring a nation together, refined at the hand, at the word, at the power of the Almighty Father. In Yahusha's name. My name is Symmanayah, and I thank you for listening to these words. Pray on them, O Yashar'al, for many don't believe. If you receive these words and they include words of life, you now too have a responsibility to spread and share. You will be held accountable of what you do with this information that you've received, whether you realize it or not. And we cannot hit rewind. The things that enter into us that are made alive by the power and might of the Almighty Father will flow in us and out of us like a flowing river. In the name of Yahusha, I come to you and I say, be encouraged. Shalom, my brothers, my sisters, my family. Shalom to you.